So talk to me about snacks. If I were to get snack affiliate brand partnerships, obviously we want pretzels, right?
Utz,
Utz,
whatever the hell it's called, with the little girl on it.
the chip company.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Out east somewhere.
They're
Like Eastern PA.
Yep.
They're actually from
Lehigh
PA.
Valley area. Let me double check.
About
Hanover, PA.
How about
That's where Hanover Pretzels comes from too.
Sheetz brand cheese blocks?
I'm sorry, what? Wait, actual blocks of cheese? That's
At
what you want?
Sheetz? You ever go in and get those?
No.
I always get those.
Not at Sheetz.
I am Butler Eagles sports writer Derek Pida, and here with me today are fellow sports writer Brendan Howe and Eagles sports editor Jake Murda Adams. This is season 2 of the Alter Eagles Eye on Sports.
Let me tell you something.
Not at Sheetz.
Here's what Will's getting into. He eats a lot of food that, junk food, but he came home the other day from the store with my wife and had dried seaweed. Packaged dried seaweed. This thing's like paper thin.
That's healthy.
Yes,
it is.
Will.
Tell them to have at it.
But I tried some and it tasted like
Yes, Will.
It tasted like you would think dried seaweed would taste, and I like
You
spit
don't-
it out. But he's like eating these things like.
But did they make them in the chips? Kale chips? Or seaweed, like seaweed
I mean,
chips?
these things are about.
They're big
maybe-
sheets. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're like maybe 2 inches by 2 inches squares, but they're incredibly thin. I mean, they're like literally.
Yeah,
like
they're
thinner
paper
than
thin.
But yeah, and
Chex Mix.
He's just popping these things. It's like, oh my gosh. So
They're
he's on his
good.
way to being Tom Brady because Tom Brady eats what, kale?
Yes.
Doesn't touch strawberries. Too much sugar.
Do you not like kale? You guys haven't had kale the right way.
I don't like any leafy.
Kale
We've
chips.
been over
I've
this.
had seaweed and it tastes like crap.
We've been over this.
I put kale or spinach in smoothies every day, so I get that. I like spinach more than kale, but I've had kale before, like either in a salad or
So
like
kale,
fried up a little bit.
because it's so rough, you have to massage it with like olive oil and you let it sit for a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of honey, toss all that, right? Put some blueberries, cantaloupe, pine nuts in there. Boom. That salad is so good.
That doesn't sound
So
You're off the hook
Pretty
now
good.
because it's
Lemon.
post-Christmas, but next year I'm bringing you dried seaweed and eggnog, and you're eating it.
bad.
Wait, why would you put seaweed and eggnog together? Those need to be separate episodes.
So-
I fear.
we have
We want to make them sick. So
a big win to talk about.
Her show buttons.
One wide receiver stepped up yesterday.
I think
My flag football team won its playing playoff game
Oh, that's
yesterday. I
The
had 2
wide receiver
touchdowns.
was you. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I knew that's where that was going.
Congratulations. I've been wondering about flag football. We didn't talk about Turkey Bowl.
It's been an up and down year or weekend for you, Brendan. Your Buckeyes got boat raced.
So that's out of memory at this point.
He's no longer a fan. He jumped off the band.
Oh, whatever. My brother texted and asked, like, he was genuinely like wondering, like, was I upset by that loss? And yeah, I'm upset by it. But I have gone the past year saying I'd rather beat Michigan win the national title. I can't change my viewpoint on that now. Like, I don't want Miami to win.
I'd love to see Miami win.
So you're only rooting for Ole Miss at this point. 'cause
Let's
you don't
watch
want
this
Indiana
game.
to
I,
win,
no, I
actually.
told DK, Ole Miss is my team going
Your buddy
forward.
that you just randomly talked to that you haven't brought on the podcast yet, DK Metcalf. Sorry.
He wasn't up for many exclusives over the past 2 weeks. I talked to him a bit over the Christmas break.
I'll
and
give you
stuff
one
like
of my
that.
showgirl pictures. Just be like, this is our producer.
He has a wife, a fiance.
Oh, he has a fiance?
Yeah.
I thought you said he was single.
Derek, I texted you.
Technically, he still is. Right
I
now.
texted you. I asked you about this. You were probably watching it here, right?
Yeah, off and on, yeah.
You weren't invested in the way that we were. I'll say my viewpoint.
I was
first.
invested in a very different way.
I went down with 2 minutes left, like I usually do. I always like getting video of the players coming off the field, win or lose, just to see if they say anything interesting. They have a TV there, but all the media was sitting in a room over next to the press conference room watching the game. And I'm like, I want to be at the front of the line to get in the locker room no matter what happens. I see Calvin Austin go up on the TV, and then as Tyler Loop lines up to kick the field goal, the TV just didn't play it. So I'm on YouTube TV on my phone. It's a 30-second delay. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to know what the outcome of this field goal is. I hear the crowd erupt. I was like, there's no way he made that field goal. The crowd's going crazy.
No way
so
he missed it. You mean.
yeah, the no way he made it. I said. Yeah. So it was.
Yep.
It was. That's a story I'll always have to tell. But Derek, I'm imagining Derek like taking off his shirt and running around the living room.
Well, like I mean, the boy and the wife were in bed, so I had to kind of keep it toned down.
So
The boy.
how many fist pumps to the air did you?
36. And then Will watched the first half last night, and then he had to go to bed. He was not going to stay up till 11:30 on a school night. But when he got up this morning, I was still sleeping. My wife put it on. We DVR'd it, and he watched the second half. And when I came downstairs about a half hour before he got on the bus, it was right before Calvin Austin's touchdown catch. So we got to watch the last few minutes together. I didn't tell him what happened, but Loop's lining up for that field goal, and he's got his hands like this. He's like kind of like going back and forth, rocking. He's so nervous. And you saw the replay of it right off that you knew that field goal.
That thing shanked.
I mean, it was like this way.
We're calling it now. I asked Alan this last night. We're trying to brainstorm, like the Immaculate Reception, blah, blah, blah. We're calling it the Catholic
Blah, blah,
crosswind.
blah.
I called the priest today. He works at St. Vincent. I called the priest. He didn't answer. Somebody else answered, but they said he got 60 calls this morning. He hasn't gotten back to me. I guess any interview with him is going through Steelers PR at this point. But just the fact that they put the whole that game is going to be remembered forever just because they put holy water in the end zone, and that was the end zone he missed in. It's just crazy how sports work.
Here's the thing that I didn't listen to the fan hardly at all year. Coming down today, I figured no matter what is said, I'm still going to be in a good mood because the Steelers won. So I flipped it on for about 20 minutes, and there were people calling in saying, they don't deserve to go to the playoffs. They got lucky. Let me tell you something. If Loop makes that field goal, and the Ravens win 27-26, aren't they the incredibly lucky beneficiaries of one of the best kickers in the game? Boswell missing an extra point.
So that
you have to be lucky to win anything.
That's what I was kind of going to ask both of you is that game was it was kind of boring the first 40 minutes or so, and then the fourth quarter was chaos, and then the last 2 minutes were bizarre just in the way kicking impacted the game. Did you guys feel like you won the game as fans, or did you feel like you got the Ravens lost it and you got away with one? That's one of those games that's really kind of bizarre. It's like, we didn't win it. To me, it looked like you didn't win it.
To me, I've said this on the show before, and I believe this at any level of sport, high school, which we cover, college, pro. The team that deserves to win the game is the team that wins the game. The team that deserves to lose is the team that loses. You have to be lucky to win anything substantial, even if there's no controversial call that goes your way. You're lucky that your star running back didn't get hurt in the game. You're lucky that this went your way and it went the other team's way. I mean, there's calls that go, controversial calls that can be called against you or for you. And guys, I know kicking is a different breed now. These kickers are incredible, but I mean, kicks are missed. Every week, somebody misses a kick. And Boswell's kick was, in effect, it was an extra point, but it was basically a 33-yard field goal. That's what field goals are now.
Yeah.
Loop's field goal was 11 yards further than that. And I know, I think, I don't believe in this, but did you watch the broadcast? Right before
we
the
had
kick,
it on, but I wasn't listening totally.
Mike Tirico said that he was talking to, it was either John Harbaugh or somebody in the front office for the Ravens leading up to the game. And they said this is why they brought Loop in, because they felt of all the kickers coming out of college into the NFL this year.
He's built for it.
He's built for this. He's built to, not screw up a very makeable kick. And before that kick, he missed 3 kicks this year. None of them were shorter than 55 yards. And this one was 44. So, yeah, I mean, you could say Ravens lost it, Steelers won it. To me, it's the same thing. There's one winner, one loser. Go home, go back to your nest, and we'll see you in September.
I just look at it like Derrick Henry ran for 100
Nevermore.
yards in the first 20 minutes of the game or whatever it was, and the Rodgers in that offense did not look good for most of that game.
And
until
then
the
right
fourth
before
quarter.
halftime, they go for it on 4th down, and
Yeah.
Gainwell tries to get through 3 unblocked Ravens.
What was that
True
play
Steelers
call?
fashion. Wait till the third.
That's
fourth
exactly,
quarter.
Jake, I'm glad you brought that up because covering a Steelers game is different than what we do. We're taking stats and we're plugged into the entire game, what's happening. And I've told my friends multiple times now, like watching the game at home is so much more easy. Like it's so much more convenient. That's the word I'm looking for, because you're kind of plugged into what the announcers are saying. And when you're at the stadium, they only announce each play. And I was so focused for almost the entirety of that game of like, the Steelers started slow, same old story, stupid play call, people could say, before halftime. Like I was so caught up in that for the first 3.5 quarters that when the last part of that game happens, I'm like,
yeah,
what do I even go into the locker room and ask? And like you walk into the locker room and it was pandemonium. They all have cigars. It's just hazy. Yeah. The speaker's blasting. They're not turning it down for us to ask questions.
Neil Diamond, I'm sure.
I'll show you guys, and maybe I can send
Sweet Caroline.
Maybe I can send Laura some of the videos. But like, I have a microphone, and the bass from the speaker was so loud that the audio was just completely warbled. Like you, and I had to like listen back, and I thought my interview with Adam Thielen was ruined, but I would listen back this morning without AirPods, and I could hear it somewhat. Yeah. So it was just, I will never forget that night. Like, there's still a little bit of fan in me because when they missed that field goal, it was like,
you were like, what? We can see your face.
I can't say what I said when that field goal was missed.
Think of something else. You're a writer. Come on. Macaroni and cheese.
Yep. That's
what did you think about when Boswell missed his extra point?
I was like, this can't be happening. Like this. And then I tweeted out, it was the funniest thing. I was like, the Steelers were doomed to miss the postseason. If Boswell's miss doesn't illustrate that to you, nothing will. And then they go and win it. I quote tweeted myself, and I was like, yeah, don't listen to my dumb.
Game's not over till it's over. I want to bring up one thing about, the previous week against Cleveland, everybody was on Rodgers. Everybody was on their receiving core, which, obviously didn't do the job against Cleveland, and they deserve the criticism for that game. Last night they stepped up. And one guy who didn't play against Cleveland, who did play last night and had a huge game, was Calvin Austin.
Such a nice guy. I have a video, and I woke up this morning, my brother sending it in, that I have entered the TikTok edit realm with my voice and my questions. I have a video that I posted of him. He walked in the locker room and he was talking about how he wanted the hat and shirt. And at the end of the interview with him, I said, how do you like the hat and shirt? He picks the hat up, puts it on, like his dreadlocks on his face. He doesn't even care. He's like, I wanted this for so long. I'm so happy. Like, people don't understand. He's like, I'm wearing this all day tomorrow. And I tweeted, I was like, he might sleep in this hat. Like, and that's kind of a joke. Like, he might actually sleep in this hat. He likes it so much. So he's one of those guys like you root for. Like, he's smaller. He comes from a small school. And he said on Friday when they had the practice that he was like thrilled to play in the game. And he came up in a huge moment.
Not only did he catch the touchdown, but on the first play of that drive, 17-yard catch, first down, just to get them across midfield.
Well, I think
your Eagles are in the playoffs.
The Eagles are in the playoffs. Had the chance to take the 2 seed in their hands thanks to the Lions. And
do you agree with the playing the backups? Do you agree with that?
They were so banged up on the offensive line that they needed rest, and so. If the Bears had won the game, which they were the favorites going in, it doesn't matter anyway. The Eagles couldn't get the 2 seed, and risking the starters and someone getting injured just for that chance wasn't something I was willing to go for. But you have the game in hand, and they made a couple like bad coaching decisions, which they do every single week in the second half to lose that game. One of the things that Sports Talk Radio in Philly has been talking about all for the last 24-ish hours is the Eagles signed A.J. Dillon, former Packers running back, in the offseason and have barely played him. He's been inactive almost every week of the season. And going into this week, they have their defensive line depth is very low this year compared to previous years. They love playing a rotation on the line. And they're like, why don't you cut Dillon and bring up one of your practice squad guys on the D-line just to have a body to take some snaps off of some of the second-string guys? And even a few of the starters had to play because they just don't have anyone on the line. And they didn't do that, so they had a bunch of guys playing almost every snap of the game. Who you watched the last drive against Washington, and 39-year-old Johnson at their quarterback is running around a defensive end because the guy he's shot. You watch him, see the quarterback get around him, and he just can't move. He couldn't run to chase him down, even though he should have been able to do so. So like there were some roster things and some like coaching decisions in game. That's like you had a chance to win this even with the backups playing, but. I still would have rather sat the guys.
Derek, would you like to thank Jake for something? Kenneth Gainwell.
Oh yeah,
I like Kenny Gainwell.
Hey, he was our MVP this year.
Yeah. He's a good player. I like it. Just bad play call in the end of the half for you guys.
Jalen Warren, I believe, 13 carries for like 66 yards. I mean, that's a good average.
Yeah.
Real quick on the NFL, 1 point. If there's one game this week, you have to bet your next paycheck. You can't get out of this. You have to bet your next paycheck. What game? And I'm not talking spread. I'm just talking win or loser. Who would you bet this week?
The Bills beat the Jaguars.
Really? I'd take the Patriots over the Chargers.
Oh, you guys are missing an easy one. Rams Panthers. I'm taking the Rams.
Oh my
Hey, the
God.
Panthers just beat the Rams, didn't they? Just a couple weeks ago.
I don't care. I'm still taking the Rams.
I
to win
do.
it.
Wait, is
I
this
do.
a real thing you guys are doing?
I'm not. If I ever bet
I
my
was gonna say,
paycheck,
why don't we write it on the board?
Because I can't afford to lose a paycheck, but
I was gonna say.
I will. It does bug me that, and it's happened a few times in the past, but it does bug me when a team with a losing record makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Carolina.
I would like to see them next year get rid of seeding by division champion and just seed it straight up based off of record.
I'd be open to that. I mean, if you win your division, no matter what your record is,
Yeah.
you make the playoffs, but the seeding could be,
Yeah. Yep. All right.
So our last actual
right.
show.
All right.
Our last actual show was
All right.
December 16th, I believe.
Something like that.
Crazy. So it's been over 2 weeks.
Crazy.
A lot's gone on in the high school sports world, college, obviously, and pros. What have you guys been paying attention to? We're going to go to Jake first on this one.
Locally, it's that Butler boys basketball went 1-3 around the holidays. They had a game after New Year's, a game right before Christmas, in which they won one and lost the other. It's been like a really rough stretch for them. I think that this is a team that we all in the preseason were like, they might be good. How good might have been a question, but competing to make a decent run in Whippeals, maybe get into the state tournament is there. And they're by no means out of it yet, but they're 4-6 right now, I believe. And it seems like from some of the stuff you guys have covered and John over the last couple of weeks, this is a team that's frustrated with itself right now. Like they're not playing with a lot of effort. I think they've been out rebounded in most of it. Like that's been a talking point from you guys in the recaps. Is like they are losing the rebounding battle badly, and they've got some athletes on that should be able to make a difference. At the rim or off the glass. And I don't know. I just right now that's a bad stretch. They can turn it around. It's a lot of section play from here on out. They got Seneca Valley on Tuesday, which will be out or will have been played before this episode drops. But that's just something I kind of noticed. Like, okay, this is rough stretch here. Best case scenario.
Hopefully 2026 is better to the Golden Tornado than the end of 2025. Brendan?
I feel bad piggybacking off of Jake here, but like at recency bias, that's the most recent team I've covered on Saturday, and a lot of the points that you just mentioned. When I've covered them this year, I've kind of paid attention to Stanton Forbes, Andrew Gettinger. Where else are they getting the scoring from? And I think when I covered them on Saturday, during the first half, they only had 5 points, and only one other starter made a field goal in the first half.
Wow.
And throughout, they just seem disjointed. The offense obviously runs through Gettinger and Forbes. And McDowell's coach, Kevin O'Connor, I think his name was, he told me, like, they knew that coming in, and they were trying to pressure and rattle the rest of the guys, and that ended up working. Something I was thinking about, and it's nothing that Matt Clement would ever think about, but Donovan Carney could be here. And Matt told me after the game that last year they had, like, players leave, players decide not to play, and I'm sure he was referring to Carney, who is at the worst, I think, like a Division II recruit at this point. Like he was good when he was here, when he was younger. I'm not sure he played. Did he play while you were here, Jake?
Nope.
No, he was like Braylon Littlejohn's like 1B on that team when he was here, and they don't have him, and they could use him, but they're gonna have to find something during this 10-game stretch. All section play. It's all ahead of Butler. Like, they've beaten Woodland Hills, who's a tough team. They've beaten North Hills, which Matt said was a very physical game. Like, they can beat these teams. Newcastle seems above and beyond in that section, but they can beat these teams. It's just they need the other guys to chip in and do their part.
So as far as the high school game, actually this game that I covered happened right before the holiday, but it was played since our last show. Karns City girls, December 23rd. So this is the last day I worked before the holiday. They hosted Red Bank. They beat Red Bank, snapped a 16-game losing streak against the Bulldogs. And, I'm not surprised by what Naomi Vaneski did. I think she put up like 20 points. She's definitely the leader of that team. But one player that really stood out for me that I wasn't expecting was a freshman guard for the Gremlins named Taylor Richard. She had 3 3-pointers. I think she finished with 11 points. But in a game, this isn't one of those games where Karns City's up by, 25 at halftime and they coast to a victory. This is against Red Bank. This is one of their biggest rivals, one of the teams that's had their number. And Taylor Richard, as a freshman guard, didn't just score, but I noticed for a large portion of that game, Red Bank was pressing, using the press defense. And Taylor Richard had the ball in her hands a lot. So for her coach, Steve Andrassi, and for her teammates to trust her in those situations, to not turn the ball over, to make the right decision against a press defense, a good team. I know Naomi Vaneski is a senior this year, so she's going to be gone. But as a coach for in Steve Andrasi's case, to see that growth from a freshman guard on the floor and knowing that, wow, I got her for the next 3 years, she's going to be really good. I mean, she played very well in a pressure situation and was a big reason why Karns City finally won against Red Bank. I believe the last win was 2018, January of 2018, and they play them at least twice a year and throw in a couple playoff games, and that's how you get 16 straight losses.
It's crazy. I think the two things that coaches in high school sports love most is a freshman point guard or like a freshman or sophomore quarterback, because then they know for the next few years they've got someone who can run the show.
Cross that off the list and just know that you got that taken.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the regular season, specifically here with high school, things that we're looking to kind of monitor and take note of through the rest of the season. Brendan, we're going to go to you first on this one.
Something to watch. I covered Montauk sometime last week. The days have just run together for me here. Montauk boys, they lost to Freeport, and during that game, we saw Mike Jewert step down as head coach last year. I think he's still on the staff. He was on the bench during that game. Now. And you think he steps down, maybe it's because they don't have much, and that's not the case. They played Freeport really toughly, and then they came in, they beat Red Bank. I think it was on Friday night. That team can play basketball. They have guys across the board that seem to help. Andrew Zepeda came off the bench. He transferred out to Kiski last season. He's back now. I plan on writing a feature about that, seeing what happened there. But he was a big part of that team that won the District 9 championship.
2 years.
Remember? And he was a starter on that team. So if he's sitting on the bench, that tells me that those guys that they have on the floor starting, they must mesh pretty well together. They must be pretty good.
Who did the preview on Montauk boys? Was that John?
It was John.
I just wonder, Andrew Zepeda, did he just come back, or was he going to be on the team even back in November?
We'll find out. It gives everybody a reason to read the paper. Huh?
I know we did not really. I don't think
You're good.
Professional writer over there. I think we did not know he was back in the preseason. I don't think that was something that was talked about in media day. Bad on us as reporters for not asking if he was back.
I think he averaged. This is going off the top of my head. As a sophomore 2 years ago, I think he averaged about 14 or 15 a game. So even if they get just that from him,
he had
boost.
double digits off the bench against Red Bank when they beat them, from what the box score showed. So, he's a guy that, even watching him as a freshman, I remember reading about him as a freshman. I wrote a feature. He was a spark for them. The fact that, and just again to stress this, the fact that he's not starting for them with as talented as he is, and I've seen it, they might have something there. I'm not gonna say they're going to the District 9 championship again, but that's a team that it feels, especially during that game against Freeport, they were in control most of the time. Freeport kind of outlasted them late. I'm excited to see what they can do, even though that gym seems pretty dimly lit most of the time I go there.
Got the biggest indoor American flag I've ever seen. I'll say that. That thing's literally 15 yards wide. It's just boom. Jake, what do you got for us?
I'm going to take a circuitous route to my point for a second. We've had a few players either approaching or have already hit 1,000 points this season. We've already had one wrestler hit 100 wins this season. Last year, it took forever for us to get to any sort of milestone. I think it was late January, early February where we had our first couple thousand
And then we
pointers.
had a bunch that came at the end.
And this year it's different. We've got Master Romanovich from Slippery Rock, who she's probably going to get it this week, considering especially she's averaged 22 points or whatever a game, and she's 27 off, I think, from the mark. Seneca Valley's Natalie Hambley, who I'm going to catch tonight. Who knows, maybe Laura's got something special on the green screen for us later when this thing drops on Thursday. Is 9 points away. She and the Raiders play Butler tonight. I expect her to get it, but she was held scoreless in her last game, so we'll see how that goes. And Butler's been playing better than we expected. But the one that I'm probably paying attention to most, and this is kind of cheating because this is not exactly regular season, but what he does in the regular season is going to tell us whether or not he can get there, is Santino Sloboda. He has a chance to break the county and school record for wins in a career on the wrestling mat. 160 for Cole Baxter is the Butler record set a few years ago. And the all-time record in the county is Alejandro Herrera Rondon from Seneca Valley, who has 175. It's weird. Butler's schedule is so backloaded. Santino's only wrestled 11 times. He's 11-0 this season, but he's at 139 wins. So, it's going to be a race to get to these points. He should at least get the school record. Whether or not he gets to Herrera's record is going to depend very much on how many matches he does get to wrestle this during the regular season and then how well he does in playoffs going forward. But he went 51 last year, and that's very much a goal of his again, is to do that or exceed it.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. That kid's determined. I mean, he's driven. We've had him here on the show.
People
Great
talk
kid
about
and very driven.
People talk about child prodigies too. Like John was writing stories about him when he was 10 years old.
Yeah,
and he's lived up to expectations, which is a cool story in itself.
You talked about a few of our basketball players. One player that I want to point out is Alexis Cashdollar, who's walking on at Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she had a good season last year. She was a big part of their team that kind of took the Whitfield by surprise, won 2 games against Shaler and Bethel Park last year in the playoffs that most people didn't expect them to win. They got to the Whitfield semifinals. She averaged 10.6 points a game last year. She was a key cog. She's averaging 20.2 points a game now.
Wow.
She's almost doubled what she put up last year. And I know specifically 2 games because I named her Athlete of the Week because of this. She had 1 game where she scored 33 and 1 game where she scored 25. So, man, if she keeps this up and she basically doubles what she was able to do last year, points per game wise, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if I can't think of another player in recent memory that literally I'm not talking about a kid that went from 5 points a game to 10 points, double digits, at least 10 points, and the next year they're scoring, over 20. Mm-hmm. That's basically what she's doing now. Crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Something personally that I want to see going forward. Mars and Knock were both playoff teams last year on the boys basketball side. We know Knock lost one of its best players when Jackson Bauman transferred to Moon. I haven't seen those teams in person yet, but those are 2 teams that we thought in the preseason would be really good, especially with the 2 guys Mars had come back and Ben Dedish and Austin Bluski, and then Knock just as a whole, and they get Joe Lafko, who's a good head coach. I want to get out and see those teams. I want to see what they can do and see if maybe they can make playoff runs again this year.
I'm covering Knock boys this Thursday night at North Catholic.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we had that one for the show to include. That's probably the game of the year so far for us.
Up till now, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, after what you see tonight in Butler and Seneca Valley. Or wait, I get Butler Seneca Valley boys tomorrow.
You get the boys.
And then, you get it later.
The girls are 2
season,
winning teams going against each other.
Yeah. You get Butler boys versus Seneca Valley boys later in the season at Seneca.
Yep.
So
2 teams locking horns. 2 good ones.
Locking horns is a football term.
Oh, I forgot about this.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Right now, I mean, obviously Mike Tomlin's a happy guy this morning, but I'll be the first
He's still
one to
employed.
admit, and I'm still, I'm a hardcore Steeler fan, but I'll be the first one to admit there's a lot of things on his resume that work against him. There are some things though that work in his favor, things that are, in my opinion, very impressive. And one of them is, and I'm going to turn this into a trivia question. He has coached the Steelers in exactly one game his entire career, head coach of the Steelers since 2007, where they did not have playoff hopes. One game where they were out of the playoff race. What year did that come? What season? You need time to think about it?
Yeah, give me a few minutes. I'll get there.
This is that Brady stat that I gave you guys a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I knew that
I'm
was an
inspiring
inspiration.
you.
I was telling,
I'm
here we
proud of
go.
myself.
I don't know how long we're in. I was telling Bailey about that stat, actually, and I don't think she understood the
We made
magnitude.
solid like 32 minutes there.
I don't think she understood the magnitude of that stat. She's like, oh, yeah, cool. Like,
That's nuts. It's any stat like that is crazy. All right. I keep doing it, Laura. I'm sorry.
College football.
It's New Year, and we don't really know what we're doing right now. This is Beyond Butler with not Brendan, but Derek.
That was great.
I don't remember the
We're
line.
all rusty here. We're rusty here.
So
Hey,
I
it's
winged
been
it.
3
I did my own
weeks.
thing.
Okay, Blanche Devereaux, going to the Rusty now. You know what I'm going to make next year? Golden Girl nutcrackers. Saw a DIY yesterday, and I was like, oh,
Sounds good to me.
I'm doing that. That's happening.
Already talking about 2026 Christmas. It is.
I mean,
January
listen,
5th.
if we're being totally honest, before
It's
we
like
know
me when I
it,
was
it will
12.
be here again.
364 days.
We need to take a trip to St. Olaf.
We
Minnesota.
do many different ways to get there, but typically it's a plane ride to a train ride. I think there's a donkey or a hay ride involved.
There's a hayride involved.
There's a
there,
hay
yeah.
ride involved. Yes, to St.
It's like
Olaf.
6 hours northwest of Minneapolis.
Hey, Ingrid! When she starts yelling on the hayride to see if Ingrid, she's like, "Is that you, Rose?"
Did you guys used to on?
Brendan looks so mad.
I've seen Golden Girls.
Brendan's like
not-
texting people on his phone every time we have a conversation about something he's not interested in. He picks up his phone and he starts going like this. I'm like, well,
Just gonna ignore the old people.
no, I love it. I mean, it's fine.
Did you guys?
boring old folks?
So I used to like go see my cousins in Ohio every year for New Year's. That was like our winter vacation. This was like a 10 or 12 year thing.
Yeah, guys, we're going to Ohio. Wow.
That's where they lived. This is how we saw them.
What part of Ohio?
Just kidding.
North of Cleveland, so Akron, Ohio,
oh,
basically.
super cold.
Oh yeah, right off the lake.
Right on
right
the
off the
water.
lake. But we would go and we did the thing at like 12:05 through 12:45 a.m. New Year's night at this point, where we would just say, "I haven't brushed my teeth since last year." Did you guys used to do that stuff all the time? Like just run around
I was
the house saying that?
outside banging on pots and pans and screaming my head off.
Neighbors
See
did
you
that.
next year is the lamest thing you can say on January 31st.
You're lame.
You should be punched in the face if you say that.
You're
no,
lame.
it's funny. It's
See you next year.
All those trips to Akron, did you ever make it as a kid to the Pro Football Hall of
I
Fame?
did once, yeah.
I went
I
there.
have not been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame though. I would like to go.
Oh, I've been to that, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's probably
like to go.
changed a bit.
Last time I was in Canton, I was probably like 15, so it's
We
been
should
a
take
long
this
time.
on the road, you guys.
There you go.
That should be a goal.
I know it's a sore spot for you.
What do you keep doing?
I'm past
All
it.
right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Keep
I'm
doing
more,
that.
I'm more concerned about the who's entering the transfer portal at this point because they had an exodus yesterday.
So the Final Four in NCAA football is Indiana, Oregon, Miami, and Mississippi. Rooting interest, Brendan?
I'll take Ole Miss, like I said earlier. Indiana would be such a cool story if Kurt Signetti wasn't their head coach. Like just him being an IUP guy, and like usually I like brash guys. I like the kind of showmanship.
Yeah, what the
I
heck?
just I don't know, something about him like ruffles my feathers.
Name any diva receiver, and that's Brendan's favorite player of that year, and he's saying he doesn't like the
And,
coach.
Like, can you imagine? Like 5 years ago, I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. Like, say in 2020, after Alabama wins the national championship, height of their powers, Nick Saban, someone looks you in the face and says, "Indiana is going to wallop you in the college football playoff 5 years from now." They would have had you admitted. They would have been like, "Get out of here."
Indiana, Alabama. I mean, maybe in bowling, but football? I mean,
Definitely important.
come on, crazy. Jake, rooting interest in the college football playoff.
I have enjoyed the chaos of this postseason from afar. I still really haven't watched much of any of the playoff games, just like I don't really watch much of the regular season. my rooting interest right now is tied to the fact that as you guys know, and I think I've talked about this on this show, I listen to the Dan Le Batard show all the time, so I very much enjoyed the chaos that they have created around being Miami fans. So I'm kind of rooting for it just to see what happens on the show. And even if they lose, I'm rooting to see what happens on the show because they'll make something entertaining out of it. So really it's just for me to listen to a podcast. Like whatever happens, I want it to make for a good podcast the next Monday or whatever it is. But I was not, when they got in, I was like, that is a dangerous 12 seed. We haven't gotten a chance to see each other on the show at least. I knew Miami against Ohio State, like Miami, don't count them out. I thought there was a very good chance that they could win that game. I didn't necessarily expect them to do it the way that they did, but this is a better team than the seeding suggested, and they're playing like it right now. I don't think Ole Miss has much of a chance because this is a guy who's coached 2 games with a roster.
Trinidad Chambliss.
I know, Trinidad Chambliss has been good.
Slippery Rock came like 1 field goal away from beating that guy, and now he's in the national semifinals.
Ferris State.
And they didn't even make the playoffs.
Sidetrack for just a minute. Speaking of Miami and Dan Le Batard, have you ever seen the 30 for 30, the U?
Oh, yeah, both of them.
Great.
Yep.
And he's like interviewed like throughout that. That is a great
It
documentary.
is one of the best 30 for 30s ever produced.
I've watched
They're
that at
so
least
fun.
10 times.
It's an awesome. I mean, even if you don't like Miami, just to kind of get the inside look on that program through the 80s and 90s, it was great. It's awesome. I recommend it.
It makes you like. So Brendan and I obviously did not grow up, especially with those 80s Hurricanes teams. You probably remember some of that, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, I look at it as like, that does a very good job of making what I assume at the time was very much portrayed as the villain in every sense of the word, because it's all the inner city kids from Florida playing against, one of the years is Notre Dame, another year they're facing Penn State.
Convicts versus Catholics.
Yeah, there's a lot of the racial components to this stuff going on. The coaches that they had were very brash. Speaking of, and those documentaries do a very good job. There is some villainy there. They were like kind of reckless team, but it almost makes you root for them during the documentary. I came out of watching both of those just like, man, this was a fun as heck team.
Speaking of Miami, I'm sorry, what was that?
Everything's so structured now too, like where those villain teams like Alabama and the Patriots, when they were good, like there was nothing really interesting coming from them. They were just steamrolling people, and like you had to hate because they were winning. Like, how fun would it be to have a team that just everyone hates because all of them are just
It was Dallas in the
utter
90s.
On weekend furlough programs.
It's one of the reasons, like, I enjoy the UConn women's basketball teams. I enjoy let me finish my point before you cut me off here. I enjoy the New England Patriots. I enjoy the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Antonio Spurs stuff, because it creates this, like, everyone wants there to be a David to knock off Goliath. Even if the team is
Evil empire.
Yeah, the Yankees is like the perfect example of this. Even if the team isn't like a villain, we just make them a villain because we're tired of seeing them win. I like those teams because it makes the sports interesting. We all like lambasted UConn winning 6 national championships years ago, and now look at women's basketball. It is a mammoth compared to what it was.
That's
it's great
why,
for sports.
and I mentioned this on the show, I believe that's why I was so much into golf when Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't rooting against him. That one time I was rooting for Rocco Mediate to beat him because he's from Greensburg. It's like, oh my gosh, a local guy taking Tiger Woods to the brink. But
yeah, Tiger's a good one.
Speaking of Miami football, we're talking about the playoff. I would love to see them win just to stick it to Notre Dame. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
I don't dislike Notre Dame. I just cannot. I just detest the way they handled it, where they didn't make it, even though they had 2 losses, and one of them was to Miami, albeit at the beginning of the season. And then they refused to go to a bowl game. It's like, okay, let the team that got in instead of you win it all, and then we'll hear you. We'll hear what you have to say then.
And I would have liked to see an alternate reality in which Notre Dame got in over Alabama and seen what they had done. I think they might have stood a little bit better chance in the playoffs than Bama did. But
Definitely.
Miami is very much proving it belongs.
Yeah. You got a question to get wrong here.
I'm not getting it wrong, actually.
Sorry. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be.
You can ask the question again. I think I know.
The only season that included a game that Mike Tomlin coached the Steelers where they were out of the playoff picture.
The 2009 season.
2012.
2012.
That was my next guess, actually.
Here we go. I would have gotten it right.
Wait, they played the Browns the last week of that season, right?
2012, yes.
Yeah, I wrote about that earlier this season. They started really poorly. It was it 0-6 they started?
They started 0-4 in 2013, but that was the next year. 2012, they were kind of like up and down all year.
Just like they have been for the last 5 years.
I knew it wasn't like in recent memory because I can't recall like in the past decade. Basically.
2009 was they actually closed the season against the Dolphins. That's the game where Ike Taylor laid out Pat White.
Taylor.
And the Steelers won that game, but then they needed like 2 other games the rest of that day to go their way, and they didn't. So, is it mid-season? Can we say that?
Ballpark, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay, so we're going to give out our preseason awards here, starting off with
Midseason awards.
I'm sorry, preseason. Preseason was 6 weeks ago.
It's college basketball. It doesn't start until after football season.
Yes, mid-season awards. We're going to start off with girls basketball MVP, Brendan.
I think I've only covered one girls basketball team this year, and the player that stood out to me the most was Melina McElroy. She kind of does it all for Butler. They're exceeding expectations, it seems, to this point in the season, so I'm going to go with her. She does a lot.
Jake.
Talked about her already, Madison Romanovich. She's 27 off of 1,000. The Slippery Rock Rockets are 6-3 right now, I believe, and she's averaging almost 23 points a game with a couple 30 burgers in there.
Madison Romanovich, we know that she's 27 points shy of 1,000. Here are her other career numbers so far. She's also 49 rebounds shy of 500, 29 assists shy of 200, and 39 steals shy of 200. Melina McElroy is a good player, but you're gonna pick her over a girl that's averaging 23 a game.
Butler's exceeding expectations.
Where'd you go to high school, Butler? Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I told Jake last week I haven't been plugged in. I think this is my first Monday working since like Thanksgiving. So, yeah, well, come back to me at the end of season awards. And
okay,
that's not the exercise. We can't fast forward time.
Actually, I'm going to come back at you right now with boys basketball MVP mid-season.
This is one of those things where it comes in like, is MVP the most valuable player, the player that if you took them off their team, they would not be what they are? I'm going to go with the latter part. Without Andrew Gettinger, Butler basketball is not in the mix right now. 2-2 in the section, still has a shot to kind of just make playoffs in the way it pleases. I'm going to go with him.
Jake.
I'm surprised that he didn't go with his favorite school in the county, Mars, with Austin Wroblewski, his boy, his basketball boy, not his football boy. 19 points per game, I believe he's averaging. Mars is 6-5. They've been competitive in most games this season, and the one that I saw of them was a very entertaining win over North Hills, I believe. No, Woodland Hills. I think he looks good. And in that game, I think he had like 8 points. It wasn't even one of his best games, but he's been one of the better players. I think he could take some of the North Catholic kids too, but I went with him.
Yeah, North Catholic with Jason Fredericks and Jude Rotman, and they have a freshman named Brandon Pickett. I mean, they're all really good players, put up big numbers, but how do you differentiate between the three? I'm actually going to go here with a little outside the box, Cole Johnston for Karns City. I haven't covered Karns City boys yet this year, but I've taken their results and I've read their write-ups in the paper, and it's every single game he's scoring at least 15, and there's been several games where he's been over 20. So Cole Johnston for Karns City already had a great season on the football field. He's doing it again on the hardwood this winter. All right, Jake, biggest surprise from a positive standpoint.
This being asked now is timely, but I'm going to say it's Butler girls basketball. They're 9-2. Both of one of their losses was a close one. Another one came off of a late arrival at a game, I believe it was, because there was a bus issue of some sort. I think, Brendan, you covered that one, right?
I did.
He did, and then they talked about it the next game.
They're gonna face Seneca Valley tonight. They're gonna have a couple key games coming up between now and like basically next week. So this could really change quite a bit. But the fact that they're 9-2 with a bunch of new faces, like we had McAllister last year. I'm blanking on their point guard who played soccer as well, Sydney Patterson. A bunch of really good players that all graduated. The Meyer girl as well, Avery, and I personally was really concerned what this team would be able to do. Usually when you lose a big class like that and you don't have anyone immediately in the pipeline, there's a step down. So far, they've looked really good.
I'm going to steal the show here for you just a second here. Sam Ware. Now, we know she's a really good, talented sophomore for North Catholic. Last year, she averaged just over 10 points a game, and she's already received some offers, including from LaSalle. But much as is the case with Mars's Alexis Cashdollar, she's really picked up her game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Ware's averaging, I don't have her numbers in front. I got to believe she's averaging 16, 17 a game. So she's really increased her production, and that goes along with a team that also has Brady Weiner, Harmony Jones, who's a really good player. So I'm going to go with Sam Ware. I didn't think she would be putting up the points that she is. And as they usually do, North Catholic girls are normally one of the last teams we have standing in March in the state playoffs. And if they do so this year, Sam Ware is going to be a big part of that, Brendan.
I'm never a strong proponent of District 9 basketball teams or District 9 sports. I know I kind of pick on them at times, but like I said earlier, Montauk looks like a good basketball team. They played a Whitfield team really closely. I'm going to go with them. I think they deserve it.
All right, now, biggest surprise from a negative perspective. And you can't say Ohio State.
Is Knox still winless?
Yes, girls.
Anytime a team goes winless, especially a team like Knock in the time I've been here has made a Whitfield championship game. They have a good coach in Shea McGraw. I'd say that's a surprise to this point negatively, and hopefully they'll pick up a few wins.
Coming into the season, Nia Ewing, one of their players, was one of the players I picked for people to watch.
Mm-hmm.
She's had a couple big games, like personally, where she put up a decent amount of points. I think they just need to find a decent supporting cast. So hopefully, that now that the calendar's turned to 26, hopefully they can find more girls to contribute in the scoring department. Jake?
Butler boys basketball at 4-6. I talked about them a little bit ago. It's just going into the preseason. I had higher expectations for them. Not to say that they can't turn things back around, but through almost the halfway point, they've underperformed what I would have thought them to do. And the fact that they're getting out-efforted in some of these games, it seems, is concerning to me. That's never in basketball. It's a lot better to lose while putting in higher effort than to lose while not getting outclassed on the glass is never a good sign. And it seems like that's been the case a few times this season.
I brought up Mars's Alexis Cashdollar several times in this show. Averaged 10.2 points per game last year. Now she's basically doubled that. She's averaging well over 20 points a game now. The fact that Mars girls, last I checked, I think they had 3 wins.
Yeah,
3-7, 3-6, something like that. They went down to Garrett County Community College in Maryland, and she had great games individually, but I believe they lost all their games down there. The fact that you could make a case strictly from the numbers, and I know Madison Romanovich for Slippery Rock's having a great year, you could make a strong case for Alexis Cashdollar for MVP, at least strictly based on her stats. And the fact that Mars has gotten up to such a bad start, that's surprising to me. Maya Moore is averaging, from the results I've seen, she's probably averaging between 8 and 10 a game, so she's kind of like the second scorer on that team. But it's been over 30 years since Mars girls basketball has missed the Whitfield playoffs. And
really?
Now, I think they're 0-3 in section, last I checked. So they need to pick it up if they want to keep that streak going. The last time let's put it this way, the last time they missed the playoffs was last century. I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but it's been about 3 decades. Best team, I'm going to take the lead on this one, and this includes all sports. Seneca Valley Hockey, coming off their second Penguins Cup in program history last year and their first state title. I don't know if, the fact that they're doing well, I figured they would do well, but they're 12-0. Although they do have some key players back from last year. Chris Nichols in goal, Braden Morin, who had a hat trick in last year's state title game against Holy Ghost Prep. Mm-hmm. He was actually named the PIAA Class 3A Player of the Month for November. I did a story on him recently. They have a number of key players back from last year, but still, to win your first 12 games, that surprised me a bit. But right now, it's clear to me that they are the best team in the county when you take into account all winter sports teams. Jake,
I forgot about hockey, and that's on me. Good call on them. I'm going with North Catholic girls basketball. I think they're 6-3 right now, but they've played some teams out of state that have been really good. They were down in Florida over the holidays for a big tournament there. They were in the She Got Game Classic, I think it was, too, in D.C. earlier this season. Last year, they made it to the state semifinals. And they have most of the same players back. This is a roster that looks ready to make a deep run.
Just hope that team on the other side of the state, Lansdale Catholic, doesn't have all those players back. I mean, my gosh. That team. Well, they crushed Oakland Catholic in the quarterfinal, and that's when we said, okay, because Oakland Catholic had handled North Catholic pretty easily in the Whitfield playoffs. And when they crushed Oakland Catholic, and that was North Catholic's next opponent, we knew that it was going to be a tough road to hoe.
Season was starting.
A tough road to hoe out to Chambersburg and back for North Catholic. And as it turned out, I think they lost that game by like 55 points.
I'm never going to count out Molly Rotman and the Trojanettes. It seems each year they are adding miles onto our odometers. So I'm sure it'll be the same this spring.
That's your pick?
Yeah, that's my
best
pick.
team? All right. Yeah. Brendan and I agreeing on one of them, and Derek and I agreeing on girls MVP. Look at that.
Madison Romanovich. She's crazy. She does everything. Everything.
That was an easy one. But yeah, it's going to be a good second half of the season. We'll see how it goes.
Looking forward to it. See you next week.
Real quick. Goal. Personal goal.
What is this, our New Year's resolution?
Career goal and podcast roll.
Podcast roll?
Not roll.
My podcast roll is to be
podcast,
the weird one.
My brain just went. Pff.
Personal goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Personal, like a personal goal.
For this year?
For this year.
Okay. Personal goal this year is to maintain / continue to improve my physical health. I'm actually in a good spot the last few weeks, and I would like to keep that going and hopefully finally get back into a bowling tournament. I have not done one in like 10 years, and I would like to do one again. Career goal or job goal for this year is I want to see how we do award season this year because we've changed some things. And we're actually working on that stuff right now with APSC and the state Keystone Awards. So I'd like to see how we do there. I think we can come away with some hardware, hopefully, or at least some recognition. And then podcast goal, I want to keep launching I want to do the more interactive stuff with people on social media and things like we've talked about. So, and I think that'll start hopefully today.
Love it. You get this, that, and that.
My personal goal got a buzzer.
Well, meaning you're done. Like, I'm cutting you off. That was great.
Big X.
No, it was all together. Like, okay, finished. That was like finished. Great job. And let the magic happen. That's what that was. And you're all going to get it. Go, Derek.
Personal goal is to find a way without actually cutting a limb off to get down to 200 pounds again. Like a year and a half ago, I was down to like 187, literally. And now I'm like well over 200.
Guess stop buying you those pretzels.
Yeah.
Hey, muscle weighs more than fat. Just remember that.
My
just goes on.
Work goal would be to go an entire month where I create all my files and I attach all the photos so Jake doesn't have to get after me. And the podcast.
Let's see if Brendan can raise that.
The podcast goal would be to have, from my perspective, for me to have a perfect show, and haven't been able to do it yet. But
oh, please,
whatever.
I think each time you should do it in a different order.
Brendan.
Just to mess with us.
Personal goal, much like Derek and Jake, I have not been under 200 pounds since I was in college. In Steeler season and working here has severely hindered me from going to the gym. I've gained weight, but I still feel like I'm in pretty good shape. But yeah, I want to get back in shape. Career goal, I want to become like a for real plugged in insider with the Steelers. Like
for real.
Like,
for
get,
real
like have
with a
inside
Z.
sources other than the ones I already have.
Be like the Pittsburgh Steelers
And
Adam
like,
Schefter.
like be the first to break news. I think that'd be cool. And podcast goal, I want to do something that makes Derek exclaim in a way that he did when he said, what was that?
This is the XFL.
No. Mediocre!
Mediocre!
I think that's attainable for sure.
Laura, what about you?
Personal goal is saying no to more things. I'm stepping away from some stuff And again, also focusing on my health. I'm doing dry January.
Hey, congratulations.
Good luck. Alcohol-wise?
I had a great...
No, she's not drinking any water at all.
Yes.
Any liquids
Wait,
for 30 days.
Yes. No liquids.
It's not the no solid foods
So if you
diet.
see me
It's
pass
the
out,
only
just throw
solid
some
foods
honey
diet.
and cayenne in my mouth and squeeze a lemon. I'll be fine.
Seaweed and eggnog.
Ew. Oh, it's literally the worst. But also getting back in shape. I've been dealing with some injuries in the last couple years with my back, and I'm kind of over it. What was the second one? Career goal?
Work goal.
Work goal. Work goal is to get some funding, some sponsorships so I can hire an assistant. Maybe two.
If anyone listening out
Two
there
assistants.
has a few bucks to spare.
Well, here's the thing. I really need one person that's just going to take over social media. And we have 2 podcasts, remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a full-time thing. I need someone that's going to fully own that and start making content for TikTok. I just don't have the time to go in and know what's trending and do it on top of other things. So there's that. And for the podcast as a whole, yours, mine, all of the above, I would like to get some more like sponsorships for us and some branding. You know, we're always talking about food. So I'm trying to get us hooked up with some food for this podcast.
Absolutely.
I haven't eaten yet today, and it's...
See, that is
4
something
o'clock.
that you want to talk about being healthier, man. You can't be...
I know what I'm
it's-
eating for
it's
dinner.
almost
You know what I'm eating for dinner. Everyone
I
knows
don't
what
know
I'm eating for
how
dinner.
Chipotle.
anyone goes more than like 3 hours after waking up without eating. Like if I were to do that,
I start
might
to feel
pass out.
nauseous. Yeah,
I
like
might
I have
pass
to eat
out.
something.
I used to as a kid if I didn't eat breakfast.
I've done that on a number of occasions where I'll get up and I won't, I get up at 7, I won't 7:30, and I won't eat anything till like after lunch. But then the rest of the day I pig out. Because my body's like, we're making up for the 4 hours you didn't eat anything.
Funny food story, actually. After I got done last night, it was 4:30.
Is it funny?
It is. It was 4:30. I go into Sheetz, and I get one of those peanut butter...
4:30 in the morning?
Yes. Peanut butter chocolate
It's a
covered
night game.
donuts.
Yeah, this is welcome to the NFL.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
We encourage you to subscribe to the Butler Eagle YouTube channel and Apple or Spotify podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alter Eagle Podcast and at Butler Eagle News. Goodbye.